Stories on Israel before we wrapped up. Israel and Hezbollah exchanged rocket fire. I guess that was last week. It started off when I believe 3 rockets were fired from southern Lebanon into Israel. I don't even think all 3 of them made it. It's unclear of who fired the rockets. It was. I think reported to be Shia groups, but exactly unclear. At least that was the Israel claim of who did it. And then Israel responded by carrying out fairly heavy airstrikes, but I don't think they actually carried out any strikes that killed anyone in Lebanon, but did destroy some structures. Israel also carried out artillery fire into Lebanon. Hezbollah responded by carrying out rockets into Israel, but intentionally hitting open area. And then the leader of Hezbollah followed this up with a threat, saying that the group was ready to escalate against Israel, but no response came. And it seems that we moved past this, although it's worth knowing it's been like 15 years since this amount of fire was exchanged over that border, and it could be a sign of things to come. We also see Israel bombing Hamas, what they say are Hamas sites in Gaza, in response to fire balloons. This is, they'll fill up balloons, they'll attach some kind of burning thing to the end of the balloon and float it over the border. A lot of times, I don't know if a lot's the right word, sometimes these will cause brush fires in southern Israel, but really no more damage than that. Israel came and carried out airstrikes. It wasn't able to gain reports on casualties from these airstrikes in Gaza, but this is obvious disproportionate amount of force that Israel is using here. It's worth knowing that the Palestinians say that they carry out the incendiary balloons basically to say like, hey, we're still here and we're suffering and dying. Israel is supposed to be easing more restrictions on imports to Gaza, easing restrictions on how far off the coast the people of Gaza could fish and stuff like that, but Israel isn't holding up to all their agreements there. Interesting here, Israel is said to approve home permits for the West Bank, but this time apparently not just for settlers, but also for Palestinians as well. The report is that they are going to improve 2,000 new homes for Jewish settlers and also 1,000 new homes for Palestinians. Almost all the new home permits do go to the Jewish settlers in the West Bank, so this is uncommon for it to happen to the Palestinians, but occasionally Palestinians can build new homes. And so it's not like this doesn't happen at all. At the same time, my guess is that the settler homes get completed first. Not all 1,000 Palestinian homes will be completed, and they won't be in nice of areas. They will be built in areas that don't make a lot of sense for the Palestinians. And this is a part of Israel's plan to take over, at the very least, all the good parts of the West Bank and give Palestinians little like Bantu stands throughout the West Bank, or just one day officially annexing and moving all the Palestinians off the land altogether. All right, before we wrap, last story here from Day to Camp, again at antiwar.com. CIA chief, that's William Burns, meets Israeli Prime Minister amid Iran tensions. And not only did Burns meet with the Prime Minister, but also met with Defense Minister Benny Gantz and Israeli Mossad, that is their CIA, their spy agency, their chief David Barnera. And all these meetings to me suggest that the maybe some covert stuff being planned right now between the CIA and Mossad, and in the past this has led to assassinations, explosions, and stuff like that in Iran. We know that the U.S., along with Israel, is blaming Iran for the attack on the Mercer Street and other cargo ships in the Gulf of Oman, Arabian Sea. And so I could see the U.S., quote unquote, looking to respond here by backing the Israeli move, and sending Burns to Israel would be a way to plot and plan this. So it's possible that's what's going on here. I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, this is intelligence agencies meeting, but it's worth noting that our CIA chief was recently in Israel. All right.